So I was watching the recent LA Gladiators vs San Francisco Shock VOD, and I saw one particular example where communication goes wrong in the sense that it definitely impacts the outcome of a fight, but much more so than also can snowball into a possible side loss. So let's first establish what we're looking at here. So we have the classic dive that we are going to see a lot of in this season. We have the Lucio Zen on offense, we have the usual flankers in Tracer, Genji, and we have the front line of Winston, Diva. We will see this a lot in the future to come. On the defense, the only differences between that comp and that is basically that Baby Bay is on Soldier, which makes a lot of sense. So these two characters, because they can stay stationary and far away from the action, usually out of one leap or one booster range of the tanks, is why this is a superior comp to just mirroring it, right? So Baby Bay will be posted up on the high ground, and Doc will usually either play here. On the first defense, they actually were back here. Okay, this worked out for the Shock. They were able to sort of play it tight with their backline, so the three of them were fairly far back, were able to repel that attack. We are now in a situation where the ultimate percentages are all fairly high, so everyone's reasonably going to have their ultimate in the next fight. Fissure and Bishu are farther away, though Fissure, you have to say, 66% in a confided area such as Hanamura, point A, where most of the fighting will happen here and will probably happen here. So if we're doing it quick, like with the axis probably happening here, depending on where the defense sets up. This is probably much quicker than we think of ultimates building up for a Winston. So a lot of cleaving will happen. So this is basically a fairly big line of ultimates, but especially the timing of Big Goose ultimate will be crucial in this fight, and potentially exacerbated by bad communication. So what we will see here in a minute is that Gladiators will completely dive the point. All 6 of those members will be in this confided area. They will try to capture the point, get the first tick. Then we will see that Nomi from here gets nano boosted, jumps here, and will be able to cleave a lot, and he also gets nano boosted, which forces out the Transcendence, right? So let's keep this rolling so in order to see that how it plays out. So they're going on to the point, fairly uncontested, this is no problem. Dante is trying to get a pick here, and now in this meta, obviously, Pulse Bomb picks basically kill your attack. If you get a kill this early on in the fight, there's very little comeback potential, especially in a situation where you're fairly even on the ultimates. So they keep going. Nevix is trying to come up from this side. The orb is on him at this point, and here we see the nano boost. In a second, Nomi will jump here. Look how quickly he also gets the rest of his ultimate up, simply because he gets to cleave a load. Here we go, bam. So he's here, he gets, and the cameras will switch in a second. Yes, here we go. So here we have an interesting phenomena, and I mean, if you look at just this still frame, this is being overwatched, basically. So a lot of explosive, glittery stuff with lots of nameplates everywhere, and it's very hard to discern. Obviously, you're not just looking at a still image as a player, you're looking at moving options, but still at the same time, it's fairly hard to figure out what's going on. So we keep this going, and one important thing that we need to keep an eye out on is Big Goose ultimate charge, and he's not getting a lot of ultimate charge at this point. And sadly, if you're not observing the Oh, I think he has his heel song on. I think that's what these mean. But yeah, so he has his heel song on, but because Shaz has been ultimating, he doesn't get a lot of ultimate charge, or not tremendously much. It will slowly give out, and then he will farm up the last couple of percent. At the same time, watch what Hydration's HP does. So, I think what happened is that San Francisco had a target call on Hydration because they know his blade is up. They know their support ultimate is down because Sleepy apparently needed to counter ultimate, which is already interesting that he has to, but maybe it was necessary. It's hard to say from that situation because the problem is the following. I think his entire other backline is still posted up top here. So I really question if that Transcend was necessary, but that's not really the point. What San Francisco Shock is trying to do here is kill the Genji either while he's blading or before he starts blading, because they have no counter to this, other than possibly having a Diva ultimate, but there's a lot of hidden places here, so it would only take a little bit of the time that Hydration gets to blade in at the opponent, or also they will maybe try to zone him out with a Soldier, or Nomi could also reasonably be expected to keep him off by having great Primal Rage usage. So they have a lot of counter elements here, but they sort of commit to killing Hydration also because he will drop in a second. So let's see. Takes a little bit of... Bam! There's the big damage. I think that might have been a Helix Rocket. I'm not 100% sure. But yeah. Look at how close this is. He's close to Blade, and Big Goose is very close to his ultimate. So, in a perfect world, this works out perfectly for SF Shock. If their information calling is all done, and what happens here is, so what we just saw, if we go back for just a second, look at where Hydration is. So we see Hydration here a second ago, right? Nomi is here. Baby Bay will hit him with a Helix Rocket. The target call will come. Hydration in the back. So he's currently in this position here. And Nomi will look around and not find Hydration and deal the killing blow to him, even though he would probably fully be capable. So look at Hydration drop. Boom. And now he thinks he knows where he is. So he looks around, but the target call is not as precise as it needs to be. So they don't tell him where he necessarily was, and only then does he get to commit. So if maybe we get an idea where Hydration went. So here, boom. And at this point, sorry for keeping this up, I think what happened was Hydration dashed through here, and Nomi either doesn't get to hear that, or the information is not relayed to him quickly enough. So he turns around, and I think the nano is still going on here. So he definitely should be capable. This is 2 blips. He should definitely be capable of killing Hydration here, if he was to know where Hydration was. Now he keeps going, and this is obviously like everything's in your face. It's very hard to see. But here he gets a glimpse of Hydration. Now, there is a concept of camouflaging. And camouflaging is not just camouflaging against the terrain. So for instance, if we think of zebras, right? Zebras are black and white striped. They're not camouflaged against their terrain that they're on. Desert or the savannah is definitely not black and white striped, is it? Right? But what they are camouflaged against is against the rest of the herd. So for a predator, in order to get one specific zebra, he needs to focus onto that one thing, and that's a very hard cognitive task if it's just like a sea of black and white stripes. And this is what is happening here too. Look at all there's no real color shapes. The only thing that sticks out are the life bars. And yes, this life bars obviously pop up if the opponent is low. So yes, he gets a little bit of a glimpse of it, but like honestly, there's so much information on this screen right now. Here, everything's up, right? Here. All of this is up. So it's very hard to discern where hydration was. So he takes aim, and now he tries to get in, right? But it's already too late. He has an AWP on him. Now, he could still kill him reasonably. Look at this. He's here, and what we notice is, and this is crazy. This is crazy timing. Big Goose literally, if we go back, literally just got his ultimate. So look at this. 97, 98, 99, boom! Ultimate. The crazy part is the following. Look at, and this is an ultimate mechanic of Lucio. And I have to keep rewinding, sorry. I keep missing the time frame. 99, 90, one up, bam. Okay. Here the beat drops. Here all the others get the ultimate, right? So we see the ultimate already happened in a sense, but hydration didn't get it yet, I have to say, because in a second you will see this bell here blocked hydration from getting the beat in the first instance. Now, what Lucio does is it will pulse for a full second, and when you get an LOS during that time of the beat, during that 1 second, you will still get it. And that's exactly what's happening here. Nomi tries to finish off hydration, and he gets the full shield here. That also allows him to blade. We keep this fight rolling. Baby Bay tries to counter, as I said. Nomi still is not 100% on, and I actually didn't watch this as much, or didn't watch it up until this point, but it was pretty predictable what was going to happen, which was Baby Bay gets killed trying to shut down the hydration ult because all of the other countermeasures failed. Nevix, yes, is able to zone out a good portion of the blade that hydration has been using by putting it somewhere where nobody else from his team is, but he needs to evade. So that's a lot of time, but he already got Baby Bay. It's already over. So what should have happened probably is Nomi should have A, gotten him, and B, she should have definitely have maybe the information relayed to him more precisely, also that he dove on the point. Then his computation should have been quicker, and then he should have definitely countermeasured the blade when it happened with his own ultimate. As it goes, now there's one pick up. They will continue fighting for this point. Nevix has to go in, gets to DMAC, Bishu, it doesn't matter as much, they just clean up, right? So, a culmination of circumstances, both from, granted, pretty hard circumstances of communication, because it can be very tricky to communicate when a Genji gets to dash really quickly on to the point, but also the camouflage against the herd or the group of LA Gladiators, and then also not computing what this next step would be is what basically cost them the fight. And I think almost everyone is doing their job, other than probably Sleepy used his ultimate too quickly, but definitely Nomi screwed this up for them, and this leads to Los Angeles Gladiators getting the first point on a Hanamura.